Two proclamations read on the steps of the House of Assembly today, the official opposition and other political parties responding to today's events, and healthcare facilities challenged for 7 consecutive days. I'm Lissy Bastian with your JCN News for this Wednesday, August 18th. Thanks for staying with us. Two proclamations read today in Parliament Square as Parliament was prorogued this morning, followed by a new date being announced by Commissioner of Police Paul Roll in his role as Provost Marshal. The Commissioner read the two proclamations from the steps of the House of Assembly just hours apart. JCN's Laurencia Smith was there and files this report.
In the capacity of Provost Marshal, Commissioner of Police Paul Roll read a proclamation from the Governor General Sir Cornelius A. Smith from the steps of the lower chamber shortly after 9:30 this morning. Then this afternoon he came back and read another proclamation which declared when the House of Assembly will resume.
For the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, by His Excellency the Most Honorable Cornelius A. Smith, Order of the Nation, Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Proclamation. Whereas the Parliament of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas stands prorogued from the 18th day of August 2021. And whereas it is provided by Article 65 of the Constitution that each session of Parliament shall be held at such place and commence at such time as the Governor General may by proclamation appoint. Now, therefore, I, Cornelius A. Smith, Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, acting in accordance with the advice of the Prime Minister, do hereby proclaim that the next session of Parliament shall be held in the city of Nassau, in the island of New Providence, on Friday, the 22nd day of September 2021, and shall commence at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.
Back in 2010, a similar situation occurred. The House of Assembly was prorogued, and that same day, a return date was announced. Hubert Ingram was the Prime Minister at the time. Speaker of the House, Holliston Moutry, explained what the proroguement of the House means, noting that the Prime Minister could have dissolved the Parliament and called an election.
What that means is that all matters on the agenda falls away. The Prime Minister can decide during the interim whether he would want to reconvene Parliament and start a new session, and he would have to go through all of the formalities if he wishes to bring matters on the session that has just ended, if he wants to bring them back.
The Speaker told reporters this morning this proroguement was unusual as the Parliament just met last week to debate the resolution to extend the state of emergency until November 13th, during which time the House was adjourned until August 25th.
This is another clear indication to me that we need to push even harder for the separation of powers and for the independence of the Parliament. While the Prime Minister has a constitutional right to prorogue and dissolve the Parliament, actions like this, in my estimation, particularly with the Parliament just being reconvened on the 11th, is a blatant abuse of the powers of the Prime Minister's office and a total disregard and disrespect for the Constitution and the jurisdiction of the legislative branch.
All of this drama unfolded at the start of the open Parliament session, which the independent Speaker Moutry presided over.
What it does do, in effect, is exempts all members of Parliament from participating in, and it sends a strong message to all of the members of Parliament in the governing party by this action of the Prime Minister not to participate in the open Parliament. Now, the open Parliament is designed to bring interaction between the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas and the legislative branch. This is another indication of the executive branch of government encroaching on the jurisdiction of the legislative branch.
I'm Laurencia Smith for Jcn News.
While the Prime Minister receiving lots of criticism today surrounding Parliament's proroguing this morning, especially from other political parties. Here's Leah Cooper with more.
A number of political parties vying for the next general elections criticizing the Prime Minister's decision to prorogue Parliament this morning. While speaking with reporters in Parliament Square, Bahamas Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Baines says he's absolutely appalled.
This is the first time that Bahamians would have had a voice in the House of Assembly with an open parliament. Open parliaments take place all over the Caribbean region. This is not anything new to the world, but it would have been new to us to finally have a voice. It would have meant that the Prime Minister and all of his members of Parliament would have had to hear the voice and the complaints and the concerns of the people. They would have been able to put forward to the government what they are feeling and what they are going through. The Prime Minister on this day, of all days, decided to prorogue the House so that he doesn't have to come here. All proroguing the House means is that he does not have to hear what you all have to say. We can go on with this, with the blessing of the Speaker, because no one can touch the Speaker. But it means that the Prime Minister and his MPs do not have to be here. We think that that is a travesty to democracy. We feel it is offensive. And I call on every Bahamian, just like the Prime Minister rejected you today, I call on you to reject him on that day.
Bahamas Democratic Movement leader Cassius Stewart says this move is a tactic of the Prime Minister to muffle the voice of the Bahamian people.
I think the Speaker of the House was doing something very good by opening a Parliament, bringing Parliament to the people. And I'd like to remind the people the Parliament is called the House of Commons, means the house where commoners come. And this is where commoners come to bring the issues to the nation. And so the Prime Minister proroguing the House today is basically ending this session so that we can't speak.
The Bahamas Constitution Party leader Ali McIntosh also chimed in.
I agree with some of my colleagues who said that his back is against the wall and he does not wish not only to not hear from the people, but he does wish to have democracy diminished within the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Bahamas Constitution Party looks at this as almost a crisis, a constitutional crisis, not just of democracy, but of leadership in the country. The Prime Minister has over and over insulted the Bahamian people, insulted this young press because of the fact that he doesn't want to answer. But part of the work of this House is to oversight what the executive is doing. And the executive, I'm seeing, wants to do their work without the help of the legislature. And we must show them that this is not how it's done.
Open Parliament still continued this morning and heard from a number of members from the general public. Reporting for Jcn News, I'm Leah Cooper.
Delayed services in public health care facilities happening for a week strong today as the Public Hospitals Authority advises that the Princess Margaret Hospital, the Grand Bahama Health Services, and Sandilands Rehabilitation Center continue to experience a staff sickout for the 7th day in a row. The authority is recommending where possible the public access services at community clinics for non-urgent care as affected institutions may experience delays in services. PMH continues to experience limited staffing and expected delays in the diagnostics, laboratory services, laundry and food services department. Morgue continues services with the release of remains and identification of remains. Laboratory services at Agape Clinic, 4th Terrace, Centerville continue to be suspended until further notice. The PMH off-site blood donation drive at the New Providence Community Church, Blake Road, scheduled for Thursday, August 19th and Friday, August 20th, have been postponed until further notice. The radiology department has resumed normal operations. As for GBHS, it continues to experience some staffing shortages. The pharmacy at the 8 Mile Rock Clinic continues to facilitate emergencies only. Pharmacies at Hawksbill Clinic and Pierce Plaza are closed. The pharmacy at the Freeport Community Clinic continues to facilitate inpatients, children, and emergencies only. Now, the Rand Memorial Hospital's housekeeping department is still impacted and contingencies for services are in place. All other departments are operating without interruption. The Sandilands Rehabilitation Center continues to experience staff call-ins. Services are, however, challenged and patient care and services continue interrupted. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.